Hello, I'm Charlie Rhodes. For nearly 2 decades now, I've devoted myself to interviewing individuals in a manner that is unlike anyone else. Instead of gathering a couple of minutes of sound bites, I spend no less than 20 minutes, and sometimes as much as a couple of hours of on-air time to obtain in-depth discussions with my guests. Over the years, I've been fortunate to interview those who are responsible for shaping the world to come. Presidents, dictators, anarchists have sat at this table revealing what they had in store for their followers. Social leaders have detailed through their tears the great costs they've paid to bring about the institutional changes which they were willing to lay down their lives for. None of which you give a shit about. The only thing you damn sheep out there seem to care about are celebrities. Hell, the only reason I moved the show to public television was because I thought that here I could concentrate on interviews with people of consequence. So much for that theory. For example, I could have Tariq Aziz sitting here telling me that Iraq's developed thermonuclear weapons, which they plan on using tomorrow to initiate World War III, and I'd still pull in a smaller share than some infomercial with some high-strung putz advertising how to raise fruit bats at home for fun and profit. Oh, but get Tom and Nicole on the show to talk about the difficulty in finding a good nanny, and oh yeah. Then suddenly I'm kicking Oprah's ass. Do you have any idea how humiliating it is to spend every other day with your nose shoved so far up someone's? I hear Rosie drop kicks her chihuahua around the house every night for 2 hours straight. Of course, that's just a rumor, but I can't blame her. Dealing with all those Hollywood egos on a daily basis would make even the late Mother Teresa want to punt a pooch through the uprights once or twice. But rather than having you take my word for it, I produced this documentary to chronicle the true persona of a Hollywood elitist to illustrate my point. When I say the name James Denby, everyone thinks of this. James, it's been a pleasure as always.
No, the pleasure's mine, Charlie. Thanks for having me.
Oh. Actor, director James Denby for the hour. Thanks for joining us. See you next time. But this is what I think of when I say his name. James, it's been a pleasure as always.
No, the pleasure's mine, Charlie. Thanks for having me.
Oh. Actor, director James Denby for the hour. Thanks for joining us. See you next time.
And we're clear.
Hey, it's been great to... Prick. When I began production of this documentary, my intention was to spend a few months focusing on James as he began filming his epic tale, The Turn. Little did I know that James's career was on the verge of a horrendous collapse, even as he remained obsessed with creating his masterpiece. And little did I know that I'd be there to capture every single excruciating moment. Well, sometimes you just get lucky. So now you've brought a scene from the film you're currently working on.
Well, it's not really a scene. It's a teaser trailer that the studio begged me to do. Now, they're gearing up for Show West, and I told them I'd throw them a bone.
Now, before we show it, let's just talk a little bit about this production of yours called The Turn.
Sure.
Why? Why this story?
Well, it's obvious with the approaching millennium. I wanted to tell a tale on an epic level that truly captures the cataclysmic reckoning with the coinciding of the century, hence The Turn. Adam, my character, is chosen to decide civilization's fate. Now, initially he resists, but it's Adam's internal confrontations that truly drive the complex subtext throughout the story.
Here's a scene from James Denby's film currently in production, The Turn.
Trailer.
I'm not God, but I'm as close as you're gonna get.
Well, that sucked. That's what happens when bean counters try and be creative. If it was up to them, I'd be making some low-budget, god-awful, sex-deprived, teenage-I-need adult supervision schlock. Or even worse, some focus group would be convincing them that I needed to do a musical.
Oh.
You know, I hate musicals.
And you don't seem to have much affection for studio executives either.
No, they have their place. Oh. That place being the jaws of an angry pit bull.
Oh.
Yeah, well, normally I don't like to bring footage of the films I'm working on, especially ones that are not finished. But I knew this one would suck, so I brought my own. It's a work print, so the CG in the background is just a low-res placeholder for the final comp.
Which means?
Which means you have no idea what I'm talking about, so let's just roll.
Well, here's a scene from James Denby's upcoming film, The Turn. Roll tape.
You're still bleeding. We're gonna have to stay here and rest.
No. My wound is insignificant to the suffering all around us. Listen to me.
You've already done so much. What more can you do?
As long as I'm still breathing, I haven't done enough. As long as I can raise my weapon, I'll still fight. As long as I can still speak, I'll give the order to charge.
Follow you. And I'll follow you. God. I love you. I always have.
I know.
No. I feel this film, The Turn, is my most powerful and personal film. And I'm only willing to make it on my terms.
Oh, but your terms being a pretty pricey $180 million.
Yes, well, that's the only way this story can be done. Without this kind of budget, the scope would be narrowed and my vision would be compromised. Now, choosing between compromising or not making the film, I'm going to shut it down. End of story.
Well, as you know, those became pretty prophetic words. But before we get too far ahead of ourselves, let's take a look back at the early career of James Denby, beginning with a clip from the first short film he made while attending the prestigious National Film Institute. The name of the film is The Death of Life. James Denby. Why? Talk of your discovery of this talent. Tell about where he came from. Where's he going? How will he get there? What'll he do when he's there? Yes, he's a great actor. Yes, he's a great director. But who is he really? What is he telling us? And are we listening? What should we hear? Let's discuss the scene we just looked at. John Q. Public watches that scene and says what? What does he feel? What do we feel about this? What does it mean to us? What do we walk away with?
Wow. What tremendous subtext. Well, the level of imagery and the meaning it represents is staggering.
But combined with the visceral energy of the performance.
But what is he telling us?
It's obvious.
It's man's rebellion and triumph over machine. The men represent society's anonymity, and James's character, the dissenting voice that is willing to make a difference.
The way he struggled against the robot policeman for control of the staff, now that was amazing.
Yes, the rage in his performance, the way he relentlessly strikes out against the policeman again and again and again, giving in to his fear, anger, and isolation, and fusing them into an electrifying performance.
It felt as if the hatred between the two performers was real. That is the sign of a truly gifted director, and that is James Denby.